Self-improvement is good. It can change your life drastically. But it has dangerous tendencies of fucking you up mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, every way possible. Let me tell you how so that you won't suffer just like other people do, and I did as well. This will give you a bit of perspective, and I think you should be glad that you found this video somehow. So, firstly, what is ego? Ego is a sense of importance which you give to yourself. It's the idea or opinion which you create about yourself. Everyone has egos, and in fact, having ego isn't a bad thing at all. You have the desire to improve because of your ego. The reason you are on self improvement because of your ego as well. But here is the tricky part. Having ego means that your self improvement journey is attached to a certain outcome or a certain goal which you desire. You use those outcomes to construct and maintain an image of who you think you are. That is your ego, basically. Here is an example. Have you ever felt a sense of self-doubt or a sense of jealousy when you saw someone else's 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. working routine with peak performance of how their day is designed? I think I have been through that. So here's another familiar example. In other ways, you might perceive yourself as superior to others just because you meditate or you hit workouts consistently. You feel as if you are superior to those who don't meditate or have, an unconscious or a poor or unhealthy lifestyle. This type of thing happens only when you attach yourself with a particular outcome and your ego is literally attached to that specific character and identity of yours. Well, how do you know that you have an ego-driven identity of your goals and your whole self-improvement journey? So there are three things. First is inauthentic goals. Second is superiority complex. And the third is inferiority complex. So inauthentic goals, what does that mean? When you set any goals, you just start off wrongly stating the goals itself. You see someone else having those type of goals and you also set the similar goals, thinking that the pursuit of those goals is a right direction to go ahead with. Now, I was into this trap before. I set myself goals which was similar to the people who I admired, and I became attached to those specific goals, and I even tried to measure my goals by monitoring those goals itself. This is not to say that these goals were inherently bad, but in pursuing those goals, I was motivated to become someone else who I am not. Basically, those goals were not bringing me to my authentic growth trajectory, and it was also not letting me have my own unique path towards goals or towards the whole growth aspect itself. It also created a little bit of value dissonance and overall caused a lot of suffering. Second thing, superiority complex. Now, what does that mean? Just to make myself feel better, I used to just subconsciously think about how poor they are doing compared to what I am doing in life. This is a very bad thing to do. Basically, what you're doing, your whole overall self-improvement is just based out of ego on making yourself feel better, which is again just a cope. And in such moments, it just created a separation between me and my peers, and the whole self-growth and self-improvement idea become more or less selfish now. So this is where self-improvement, like a superiority complex, creeps in. Now, let's talk about the inferiority complex. On the other end, where you are feeling superior and you're feeling amazing and you're feeling good just because you're making progress and others are not, inferiority complex is just like an opposite thing where you are seeing very less self-worth in yourself on whatever you're doing. You're again comparing yourself, but not by the people who are below you, but by the people who are above you. Maybe people with perfect routines and disciplined lifestyles. When measuring people with some arbitrary standard, you always end up with a hierarchical order. Oh, I am doing better than this, but I am doing worse than this. Hence, it causes suffering. You should literally make time for yourself and reflect on your real goals, real values, and real beliefs which are coming from you and not from the outside chaos. What are your intentions behind willingness to improve your life? Is it just to be better than others? Is it for a greater purpose? Is it just to feel better about yourself? Or is it just someone else's life? As Aristotle once said, every virtue carried to its extreme is a vice. It's all about finding the sweet spot between the two extremes. So how does that translate into pursuing self-improvement? Well, it's exactly about that. Finding the golden mean between the two extremes. You're not just improving for the outcome or for your selfish means. You are improving selflessly, where you are also contributing to the society, someone else's lives, or even the people around you, and as well as having some type of goals which mean a lot to you. Self improvement is masturbation only when your ego is not authentic and is not aligned with the objective truth of the world and about yourself. If you attach it to something which is delusional, like having superiority over others, you will not only fail in building valuable relationships, but also question whether the whole concept of self improvement is even helping you. And in order to really improve and grow, one must adopt the humility to change. So ask yourself, why do you want to self improve? Is it just because to make yourself feel better and tease your little ego? Or contribute to the major purpose of changing others' lives and also the life of your own, but from a truthful and an authentic place?